Hi everyone. I wanna give a tour of my Animal Crossing island. Yeah, a tour of my Animal Crossing island with Punchy over here just hanging out. um because I've done a lot of work to it over the last year or so. The game came out around a year and 2 months ago, I think. And I've done quite a bit, and I quite like what I've done, and I wanted to show everyone. So I guess we'll start over here. Um, this is my this is my little park for when you get in here. There's I didn't really know what to do here, but I think this is a quite nice common area. I have KK Cruise and play just to set a mood. Here I have the gay, homosexual, gay, which I think is quite important. And if you look up here, there's a little lighthouse with some wind turbines. Uh-oh. Whoops. And I decided to just let it go out directly onto the beach. I wasn't sure if I wanted to do this because I'm a very I'm very against tourist culture. I and I didn't want to encourage that kind of culture on my island. But this looks okay. This is Megan's house. I really like it. It's really just over here and out of the way. Here to try and take advantage of tourism. The same tourism that I don't like. We have some sweet stands. I really like this cake. I like the little cookies on the side. They're cute. Um yeah, I quite like this. This is really cute. This is where we started. It's the Able shop. I haven't gone into it today. Why don't we do that actually? We're gonna go see what the Able sisters have in store for us. So it's been a while. Oh my gosh, look at the two energies that gives off, or the two genders, if you will. Like there's the one with the hoodie, and then there's heck, I keep pressing the wrong button. Yeah, I was gonna wear one of those. I think it looks way too clean. Huh. And on the other hand, there's just where's the suit? Did I say Supreme? No, okay. I really like this skirt. It's pretty. I think I have one though. And then there's just the suit. Completely different genders. And I really like the sort of walk path I have right here with the lights and stuff. And this is I like this. I was like, they want to have a break area, so I'm gonna give them a break area. This is one of the older areas on my town. Is this little pond. And this is the first area that I sort of built. I really like it. I think it works really nicely. Anything on the radio? Okay, I can't hear my game right now. And I think this is really nice. It's a pleasant place to be. Oh, I didn't mention this. This is our little satellite. it, it's not accessible from down here, though. And back here, there's a little walkway with a two-person wheelchair. I don't think Animal Crossing has one-person wheelchairs, but this is a two-person one. I really like it. I've started using wood path more, and I think it looks really nice. Tulips used to be all over this front yard of Nook's Cranny. I couldn't remember what it was called. I like putting these little like caps everywhere. These street caps. I didn't notice they had paws on them until now. That's cute. That's really cute. I should have taken a picture. So, excuse me. So while this right here was, I kept a social freezer, like a public freezer. And I was like, oh, if, like it's right by town hall, right? Then you can just come over here if you're coming to the plaza or going to the park, which we'll do right now. This section of the park, these particular 3 items have been here for quite some time. I didn't actually clear out the walkway and like pave it until fairly recently, like 2 months ago maybe. Well, this has been here for like nearly a year, I think. Also, I don't think I've ever done this this person's thing. And I really love how this sort of has turned out. I don't know if I really like the fishing deck I installed right here. I think I could do more. I think I like it. It's just over here. There's just nothing going on. There's a little swing seat. Or, not swing seat. Sorry, that's politics. Here's a little swing bench. I didn't know you could actually sit on these. I was just like, oh, that looks like somewhere you can sit without thinking. And then I saw it on. I was like, wait a second. You can't sit on this. This has also been here for a while. I added I added the bear friend on top. I thought that would be cute. I didn't know I added fences up here. And there's a little walkway up there. I think I'll go up there later. For now, I'm just gonna continue showing this sort of down area. So I moved the community freezer. I moved the community freezer down here with the community fridge because there wasn't enough space for like the public fridge. And I added a little workbench so that if someone wanted to prepare food, they could. Here's a little telephone right by the utility pole. I really like putting utility poles everywhere. I don't use them very much, but I think I kind of like using them. And this is all right next to the plaza. I wasn't sure if I wanted to put this in front of the plaza, but I think it's fine. Having a wind farm. This is one of the first areas that I actually like decorated. I really like this sort of steel walkway up here. Unfortunately, the slants on the side they neither have guardrails and are not big enough for wheelchairs, which is a little silly. Bit of an oversight if you ask me. This rock brings the whole place together, doesn't it? I was originally going to put the satellite dish on the other island right there, or the piece of land in the sky. And this is the museum, once again capitalizing on our hatred of tourism. I didn't realize this before I started making this, but my voice is having a really hard time keeping up. I strained my voice yesterday, and I thought it would be okay if I just didn't use it for a couple hours, but it's still not better, and it takes a lot of energy to sort of talk. So it's like, so it might sound a little off, I'm sorry. There's nothing really here. I really think this I want to give, I think it's Judy? Yeah. I really like Judy's sort of garden they have going on. I'm not sure where their property begins and where their property ends, and that's something that's made me uncomfortable, because especially now that Punchy has moved in right behind Judy. I really like the sandcastle there. I think I think Punchy uses it more than Judy. Oh yeah, there's a pumpkin patch up there. I really think the corral fencing does a good job. Oh no, there's. It's getting to be summer. You can't have open fire. Hi. Oh, that's so sweet. So this is where we get to the soul-crushing suburbs of my town. We have a little community music area so that if anyone can make music if they want. There's a bunch of weeds on here. This is hilarious, by the way. There are so many weeds. I don't know how they got here. Like, they weren't here the last time I played. Also, it's 9:30 in the morning. And here you can see it's just super preppy and boring, and you have a little teacup right here because the soul crushing suburb got to have tourist traps as well. Da-da. And that's my little campground and bamboo area. Up here, originally I was going to have an orchid and have it continue down here. In fact, this is an orange tree that hasn't grown in a year. I think I should help them out sometime. But I think I'll just keep it. So, this was how I made money for a while. But then I decided no, I don't want to do this anymore. So I just didn't use it anymore. There's not much more to that story. And I don't think there's anything up here. Let's just check. Okay, no. I'll read this later. Da, 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 da. So I find that one of the things that's been really hard is that there's so many flowers everywhere. And whenever I want to do something, it's always like, but do I want to get rid of all the flowers or replant them somewhere else? Not really. And like the cleanup crew doesn't get rid of them. It's a mess. Where did Sherp go? Aw. I wanted to sit with them. Where is that? I think that we should be able to place furniture in the plaza. I don't know why we can't exactly. Like, obviously it's for events, but also, like, I think we should be able to... like, there's the Lost and Found drop box already. What is that? Is that a fruit smoothie? Also, Pobs. I like the, like, Punchy looks kind of menacing from over here. So yeah, let's go up a level. Into a more rural area. It's not necessarily rural, it's just more nature-y. I haven't quite figured out what I want to do with this little bit of land. Not yet, at least. Here's a little bench. This is just a little cliffside access. And up here is sort of what I want to be a rural area. It reminds me quite a bit of when I went to Muskoka in, I think, March of a couple years ago. In the Canadian Shield. It was super snowy, and there's a whole bunch of these, what is it? Like pine trees, but what is the type of tree? I forget what they're called. I keep forgetting what they're called, and then I'll remember, and then I'll forget. Like, I had to remember what it was a couple days ago. Originally there was a house right here, but I think I want to put like a public work project right here later. Get a little water well to get some water, because we're super high up from the lake. And coming down here, this is a little just like park as well. Super duper small. It's just a little area right here. Oh my gosh. Oh, ow. I haven't had enough water and I'm very parched. Ow. So I wanted this to also be a community plaza, but I've decided against it, and I think it looks nicer this way. Here's a little access. Can I stop it? I like how it takes some time to slow down. A lot of the items in Animal Crossing just have really interesting code properties that you wouldn't expect them to just put in. This is also like a little suburb, except it's a lot smaller. Oh. It's a lot smaller and also nicer. And if that's not a commentary on modern American urban design, I don't know what is. Smaller suburbs with less going on, with people that are closer to each other. Now that's good design. I spent a couple of weeks with my girlfriend in a high density suburb that had a whole bunch of different residential levels. They had like single family homes, there was multiplexes, apartment buildings, like large apartment buildings. And it was so nice. It felt super duper cozy. The streets are so small. It was so close to everything. It was so nice. And so now I want to take like a little quick tour of my house now that we're done. I might also do one for New Leaf while I'm done. Because that sounds fun. So I really like this sort of main room. I made this mostly on accident. Because, oh, that doesn't let in light. That's interesting. What's that? I actually just want to check. What is that? Oh, I can't see. I really like this game's depth of field. Look at that. That's so cool. Also, the indoor sections make me really wish that we had free camera in most of the places in the town. The walls aren't really decorated on this side. So you might not know this about me, but zebras. But I really like transit, so this is like something you'd see in like a station. Is this sort of, what is it called? Uh-oh. Double-sided wall clock. Okay. That's very nondescript. There is so little, like, I always forget how little you're actually allowed to do on the walls of previous games. Oh, I didn't think it was symmetrical on all sides, and I think it was right here. So, I have a very, I really like floors. I value floor space a lot more than most people. And so the more negative space there is in a room, like the happier I am. At least in a room like this. I really like the red lighting, but I just don't think they work that well. See, I am like super big fan of trains. So if we go to my passport, actually, it says #1 train fan in Canada. What are my pictures? Oh, it's just from this photo shoot, so it's not. Yeah. And also that was my dream address. It's fairly outdated. I was going to show that later and be like, hey, you want to check out the difference? The thing on the side of is that a swamp cooler? The thing on the side of the swamp cooler looking thing looks like the little rig that, I used to short circuit my Nintendo Switch. Or to short circuit some pins on my Switch. Or on the Joy-Con rail of my Switch, specifically. I think there's a Kiki song that I need to... Yeah. I really like how they changed the music players. I wish that you could have more than in one room. Because the music players all have different types and produce audio in different ways. And I really like how music players work in this game. So yeah, I'm a big fan of locomotives and just public transit in general. And that's sort of why you see just in my house, just gear art. I think this pulls the place together very nicely, I guess. I don't know. Did the clock can just tick? So let's go in this room. So something I really like is that they made the room sizes a lot less sort of like consistent in shapes. So this is the first. So currently, this is trying. My current goal is to either make this into a workspace and or a commune of sorts. Um, like a gathering hall for activists and stuff. Whoopsie. I really like the details like that. I just haven't been entirely sure what to put in here. And I don't know if I want to keep this sort of wall and stuff like that. I really want to mention how nice this lamp is, though. So I also really love geography. It was sort of one of my first hyperfixations. It was not one of my first hyperfixations. It was one of my first like hyperfixations when I started to become like a teenager. And it's something that hasn't entirely continued, but I still do know a lot more about geography than the average person, for better or for worse. Not like anything like super in depth, but I'm quite happy. Now I really want to show my kitchen because it's sort of morphed into this pretty funny thing. Where once I upgraded my house enough to have enough storage for all my clothes, I took them all out of the kitchen because I was storing them in the kitchen and my other rooms. And so this is my kitchen. This is my kitchen. I think there was more I wanted to do with this, but I forgot. So for the longest time, this knife thing was facing the wrong direction, and the Happy Home Committee kept getting mad at me. I can't access the pots. Yeah, there's one that I want to do in here, but I don't have enough sort of unique tables and desktops to sort of use that with. And something that I think is really funny, there's a pet food bowl right in front of a plant behind a jail, or like behind iron bars, and I think that was really funny. Is that an espresso maker? I think it does a lot for the room, but I don't drink coffee. If I drink something caffeinated in the morning, it's either tea or one of those like Tim Hortons ice caps. But I don't like either. I don't like tea or the ice caps, so I don't really drink them. I like hot chocolate, and that's like it. But hot chocolate doesn't have as much caffeine, I don't think. It also tastes a lot nicer. Actually, it might not have caffeine. So, I didn't know what to do with this room for the longest time. And then the Sanrio items came out, and I was like, I don't want to put some of these furniture items in an existing room. I want to make a room full of them. So I guess you could call this a sort of nursery, but it's like, I think nurseries are for children. This is for me. I can't get to the bed. Oh, I guess I can't get to the other side of the room. I can't get to the chair either. But, yeah, this sort of stuff is really makes me happy. So what is on this floor? Oh, it's just a reflective material. The lighting in this game is really good. And I'll go upstairs. This room is fairly unfinished. For a while, I thought that, before I came in here to check, this room I thought was still, like, much more finished. There was, like, nothing in it. And I'm not entirely sure. Okay, so this right here, sorry, this is a reference to, one of my girlfriend's bedrooms. She has an exit sign at over top of her bedroom door, and I think it was really cute. So I decided to put one right here. It's like when I got an exit sign, I knew exactly what I wanted to do with it. Oh, it says AC. Oh my god. Okay, so that just reminded me. So I killed this cockroach, and then it disappeared, and then I turned on the laptop, and I was like, oh, good. And I thought that was really funny, because I didn't mean to hit save a screenshot. Because I just wanted to turn on the laptop, and it gave me a little pop-up for the cockroaches, and I thought that was really funny. Yeah, I need more desk space. That's a big thing. I don't know what I want to do with here. I really like Hello Kitty, just the furniture. I really like how there's look at that pillow. That's so nice, and this sort of thing. It looks smaller than my actual real world bed, though, which I don't know how to feel about. Or maybe it's just a frame. No, the mattress looks pretty small. Because my bed is 20 or 30% bigger than that. It's not much. She might be a little less. Yeah, probably closer to 20, not 30. This is so nice. I really want to know what... I don't really like the Hello Kitty table because it's sort of... the Hello Kitty table's really low. It's 100% low floor. Or low rise. I'm gonna use clothing and transit terminology. I like how one of those has a date like that. So this is my kind of cake. I love this. This is such a me cake. This is how I would make a cake. And there's a tissue box. So this is sort of, I made to replicate my real life room. There's a video on my YouTube channel that is called Water You. It's a little bit scary at first, but I decided to put a calming thing where I cuddle with my shark in my bedroom. And you'll notice that I have a desk and I have my computer on it. I usually have a mug of hot chocolate on it in the morning at least when I have hot chocolate in my house. Sometimes there's an air purifier. I think in the time, there was an air purifier in my room for a while. So that effect looks really good, even from fairly up close. So just, it obviously you can see how, the texture works, but when it gets into the actual particles, it's really sick transition. And sometimes I'll cake in my bedroom. I always have tissues in my bedroom. In fact, yesterday I have a roll of toilet paper and a roll of paper towels in my bedroom, just at all times. I don't know where my last thing of tissues went though. I have a wall clock of Orion Xenoblade. It's I got a color printout. I went to the library one day. I got a color printout of Orion Xenoblade. I cut it out and then I put it inside of one of my clocks. I really like doing DIY projects like that because for example, I want to paint my speakers sometimes so that they have more energy and they're just black. I don't have a toy box anymore. I don't know if I ever had. Well, yeah, I did. It's more one of those Tupperware things. And I have a Nintendo Switch on the desk as well. It used to be on the lower portion of my desk. My computer is on a lower rung of my desk, the one that's closer to the floor. I used to keep my consoles all there, but now my Wii U is under my monitor so that I have a better posture, and my Switch is on the desk level with everything else. I have a desktop computer, by the way. I don't use this. Can we talk about this sort of desk design? It's an office desk. Where do you put your computer? Down here? Why would you want to put it on the floor? Is that shelf supposed to be for computer? Who knows? I'm really happy how... Wait, one second. I want to take a look at that painting. I like that painting quite a lot, actually. I don't think I realized that at the time, but that painting actually does mean a lot to me. I don't know. What the contents of the painting sort of go in line with my current hyperfixation, which is on urban planning and design. So this I wanted to also make into either a commune or an arcade. Which I got the startboard this morning. I haven't some of these things I haven't actually tested. You can see another one of these on a little DJ thing. So in my town, there's this bowling alley in a mall, and and it's like underground. It's like the mall has like 2.5 floors almost. It's really interesting, sort of the layout. It like the actual like outside of the stores of the mall feel far more like a public space than a private one. And that might be because because it doesn't have a private name. Like it has like an area name. I also really like fighting games. Let's just get rid of some of that glare. That's not a fighting game? What? No way. That's a fighting game. Wait, did they remove the fighting game machine in this game? I could have sworn that was a fighting game. Sorry, I just noticed this. I just noticed that this is Apple, but like it's Apple with a full stop at the end. So it's like Apple. Okay, there's a little bussy. What are the little triangles and circles and stuff? I don't understand. I like that. The signage on that's really nice. It really upset me when the diner was a different color than the other diner stuff I have so far. I think I really like this space over here. I think cafe signs really like adding like industrial sort of interior bricks and like cafe signs adds a lot of class to a place like this. I really like it. One day I want to sort of live in sort of one of those industrial style urban homes. I imagine they're quite expensive though. And again, I want to come back to this and say how much I love this room. This room is... So first of all, I actually hate wall-mounted... Actually, let's fix that right here. I actually hate wall-mounted television. Oh, but then it doesn't line up. No. Now it looks too low. No. Whatever. So yeah, I actually hate wall-mounted televisions because I have to crank my neck to look up at them, and it's super painful. Like even this one that's fairly dead on is like there's still I have to lean up a little bit. I prefer TVs to be much closer to the ground floor, especially bigger TVs. And this is sort of my little like playmat. Where's the boop? I wanted to take a look at this place in other seasons as well, my town, but I didn't end up doing that. Hey, it's overcast. That's cute. I really like seeing these in other towns where they have like this little jump ways. And then I also have a bicycle here. There's no bicycle infrastructure in my town, and frankly, I would never actually ride a bicycle like this. In fact, I owned one for around 5 or 6 years, and I only used it like a dozen or like 2 dozen times. And it had this sort of frame out. It also had a bunch of flat tire issues, which wasn't a huge problem because right now I live in a suburb, and it was fairly easy to get somewhere to find someone that had a pump for him. And when I got it, I also lived in a suburb, except nearby there was like a bike thing. There was a little bit of time where I lived in a downtown suite. That's sort of especially when I stopped using it, because at that point I could just walk everywhere and there was nowhere to bike, because in Ontario, where I live, it's actually illegal to bike on sidewalks. And the streets in that town weren't very fun to bike down. They're also not very fun to walk on. The town I live in now has much better bike infrastructure and seems to be doing a lot more. But then again, it's also a couple years after Ontario introduced the bike law that it required municipalities to put to make bicycle infrastructure, which is one of the better provincial laws, I guess. There's a lot of silly ones. Like I saw one earlier today. There was a report from a local journalist that was Ontario to make it easier to report polluters, and it's like, that's noble and all, but that just how do you expect to stop polluters? We all know that, like, that's just a scapegoat, because we all know that the number, like, individual citizens can't really do much to reduce carbon footprint and emissions. The only way you can't just put a gas tax, right? Or a petrol tax, or whatever you want to call it. You have to make it so that people not only can but want to do other things. So in the case of polluters, it would be make it viable for people to sort of get rid of goods. Because where I live, we have to schedule our garbage days. It's not like Netherlands where you just put a whole bunch in a box and it just gets filled out at the end of the week. It's we have to put it out on the curb and be an eyesore on certain days of the week, and it's so much less efficient, and it's so time consuming and expensive because we have to pay to dispose of our things. Which isn't a terrible idea, I guess, but it's like, you wonder why people... Is this the second time today? Oh, okay. And it's like, you have to give people a way out to dispose of their goods. Like, obviously, like, I don't know if that's, like, a terrible idea. It could be a good idea in situations, but, like, there's very few places to actually dispose of things. And I don't just mean in parks and stuff, because people aren't in parks at all times. Or, like, at home. I don't know. And also, by the way, that same trash day blocks either the sidewalk or the road, depending on where it is, and it's incredibly annoying to both drivers and pedestrians. Or vehicleists, if you will. So yeah, it's like, you can't make people stop driving by just... Can you just not sit in the middle? Okay. Like, you can't just make people stop driving by making gas more expensive, because that doesn't help anyone. You can't just sort of, like, give people money to pay for rent either, because landowners are just going to increase rent prices, so you're just going to end up paying more money over time. And it's like, just buy the houses and give them away for good prices. It'll cost less money overall. Maybe more up front, but, like, I don't know. I think that's one of the cases where it's fairly easy to see that short term doesn't really matter. It's like a lot of these sort of short-sighted conclusions. Like, I was writing something. I was doing a little bit of writing for a project I'm working on that you might see sometime soon. Yesterday. And I was like, okay, so these condos above this mixed-use development downtown, people complained about a lack of parking. And I was like, what? The parking spots are for special occasions and for the people who work at the stores down in the back on the bottom. You don't need to have a car to live there. And then I thought about it a little bit more. Okay, so, actually, I live in a small town, and since this area is nearby to both the Heritage District and the waterfront, this is probably going to be either marketed to rich people who generally have a fetish for owning things like cars, right? And think they need one. And then on the other hand, it could be also marketed to middle class people and working class people who just can't get to work. Because, you want to know why? That building is, like, almost exactly, like, it's within a margin of error where you could reasonably argue it is less than 100 meters, or, like, on 100 meters exactly, from a bus terminal. But it doesn't matter, because our bus service isn't bad, actually. It's quite a bit better than what I'm used to. But, like, it's 100 meters from a bus terminal, which the bus terminal is also adjacent to a park, which in the winter also becomes a community skating rink. It's like not a park in the traditional sense. Which also the park has okay, so the park has those like in-ground waste bins I was talking about from Netherlands. The park has those, and the waterfront has those. Why isn't that standard? um, and yeah, they have to, and then you can't use a train station because my town has a train station. It's pretty nice. I personally live pretty close to it. It's quite nice. But the thing is, our passenger rail service via rail only owns like 3% of its track as of a couple years ago. And there's probably like at least 5,000 kilometers of track. There's probably upwards of 10,000 kilometers of track that they run on, and they only own 2% of it. And a lot of their trains are diesel or diesel electric, and they're fairly slow, and they have a lot of emissions. And then because they're not on their own tracks, they have to yield to freight trains, which can incur delays of upwards of several hours. You want to know why this happened? It's because our government nationalized the passenger rail service, but not the private freight service, because passenger service wasn't that profitable. But the government was like, no, this is important. People rely on this service. You need to keep running it. And so the government bought it up. So you can't take the train. And also, because of their diesel trains, they take forever to accelerate. So you're basically never going to be going your top speed. It's a mess. And I've been talking for 40 minutes. I should give my voice a rest.